She's back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Erin.
Welcome back. Oh, wait, hold on. This is Real WW Talk, and I am Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Okay, now we can go back to congratulating me for coming back. No.
Yes, I was going to say, we didn't start off with, I'm Rikki, I'm Candice, Erin's not here. We're happy to have you back. And
Thank you so much for holding down the fort. There's got to be a better way to say that. I mean, we're in the 2000s, not 1800s, right? But ladies, thank you very much for covering for me for the past couple weeks while I have been, all over the place. And I've had so much fun listening too, like being a person and listening and like responding back to you in my car or out on my walk.
Did you make sure to subscribe to the podcast?
Right.
Like,
if I didn't already, I know I would have.
Well, tell us how you've been. How have you been? I think it's only appropriate you give the first update on how everything's been going.
Okay. Yeah. So I've had kind of a combination of my own health things that I've been working through. And then also I have a friend, which you guys, thank you for kind of sharing and going through that, who has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And it moved very fast and very quickly. And she's not only a friend, she's also a coworker. And so we've had this double whammy of this person that you work with, pretty much every single day. And work doesn't stop. Work doesn't stop when that happens. The world doesn't stop for other people, even though it felt like it stopped for us. And so it was the double whammy of, oh man, we need to process, we want to process what's happening with our friend, and we need to keep the work going. And how can we best love our friend in this time? And so been spending a lot of time with her at the hospital. She's about an hour away. So this, that's just time commitment, travel back and forth, but really good news. At the beginning of February, she went into the hospital, pretty much unable to breathe on her own. The cancer moved into her lungs. They needed to intubate her, and she went from 15 minutes of being able to breathe on her own just for 15 minutes to where she is now on a trach and able to breathe completely on her own. And so that's such good news. And there's still a long way to go with this. But there was a piece that I took away from that I wanted to bring back to us is the resiliency of the body. And that when it's given things that it's needed, how quickly it can adapt. I know we've talked about this before, but watching again this happen in real time over the course of a month, she went from being intubated and sedated to awake and intubated. Her own doing breathing trials, and it went from 15 minutes to an hour to 3 hours to 7 hours to 11 hours to completely on her own over the course of a month. And it just made me think through, okay, listen, when we give our body exercise, when we challenge it, it will respond to those challenges and it adapts very quickly.
Yeah.
And when it has the right environment for healing as well with rest. And that's what she's been able to have within the hospital environment. So that was my little RWWT, Real WW Talk little lesson I wanted to kind of bring back. But thank you very much for the love and prayers for her.
Absolutely. And that's a great lesson, definitely applicable, to all of our journeys and everything. It's how quickly you can kind of adapt and grow from whatever is going on, because when it seems dark and like there's no hope, I'm too far gone. You're never too far gone. You never know how quickly you can turn it around. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So I've been hitting hard with some of my own health things. And can I tell you, I've talked about this app before, but I've been leaning heavy into it, and it's called Chronometer, like Chronos, think time. If you're on the podcast, you can't see it, so I'm going to spell it for you. But I'm going to show everybody else on my phone. I think you can see it right here. It's Chronometer.
Yeah.
CRONOMETER is the way it's spelled. But it's an app that actually tracks nutrition. This is something I wish the WWF did along with it. I know it's trying to make it really simple with the points, but I've been doing double tracking. I think I'm on day 28 of continuous tracking while also using this app. But the really cool thing is as I've been tracking all the things that I've been eating, it's telling me how much fiber I've been eating,
Oh, I love
how much
that.
Oh,
iron I'm
nice.
getting from all of my food, calcium, vitamin A, vitamin C. And so I'm able to keep track of
Mhm.
the nutrition. And I will say, Candice, thinking about you and wanting your little good health guideline things,
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's actually given me the challenge every day of what am I choosing to eat that's going to go bust that thing up to 100%.
Mm.
Love
It
that.
tracks protein, so it gives you energy, protein, carbohydrates, fat. It'll assign through. And so I found that actually the assignments in here line up mostly with what I have inside of the WW app, but it
Mm.
just gives me a better picture of my overall like
Data. Yeah.
all macronutrients, if you want to call it those types of things. So
Yeah.
That's
anyway, for
amazing.
anybody that's interested to have more information about how that lines up, that might be something you might want to try.
I
So
love that because you see a
Yeah.
lot of people in the group talking about, wanting to track their macros. And
Mhm.
I know I've heard people talk about like MyFitnessPal and other things, but I love how it kind of shows you when you hit the goal and it turns out
Mhm.
all
yep.
about color changes.
Yeah.
If it gave a Bravo star, it'd be even more perfect.
Exactly.
You can't have
I,
everything.
No.
listen, I'm on the free version. It might do it on the paid
It may
version.
do
I
it.
don't know. Right. All right, enough about me. Tell me about you guys. How are you doing?
Rikki, you go.
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm trying to manage a little bit of stress. It's been a hard time of year. Education system is facing a lot of budget cuts, and it's not going to affect me as far as my specific job, but the people who support me, the people who I work with, could be impacted, and that could make my job harder. And also, you don't want to have to think about someone who you work with having to, find somewhere else to work and all of that.
Yeah.
So there's a level of stress that's gone along with that. So just kind of praying into this and just hoping that the year is better than it seems like it's going to be next year, and trying not to foreshadow or to, you know, project my thoughts and worries onto the next year, just kind of trying to stay in the moment. Um, but yeah, just trying to deal with that stress and other stresses that are related to that. But
How
yeah.
has that affected you and like food and exercise?
Mhm.
Have you found yourself something's got to give
Yeah.
usually, right? Has something else kind of given while that's kind of sat front?
I mean, I feel like food in the past couple weeks I've been made a very conscious effort to eat at home more, and I know I feel like I sound like a broken record because I'm sure I've said that many times, but that I feel like has been okay. It's not that it's been perfect, but I feel like what really struggles, like the days I've been staying late at work or things like that, I will sacrifice a workout, especially if it's not a day that we're doing a step at and I don't have to quote unquote get my steps in. So that has kind of gone by the wayside. And it's something that I know, intellectually, I know will make me feel better and keep me healthy. And, stress is the opposite of that. You
Mhm.
want to get that workout in so you have the endorphins and so you're healthy and your body, talking about resilience, so your body stays strong. So intellectually, I know that, but after having a rough day and dealing with like emotional things, it's hard to say I'm going to do it. Exercising feels like the last thing I want to do
Yeah.
when I know that it will make me feel better. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
kind of a hard place to be.
It's
Mhm.
a really hard place to switch it to. This is actually healing for
Yeah.
me
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it feels like more work when you just want to.
Yes.
That's why I started doing the walking
Mhm.
every day because it was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm exercising. I feel like I'm actually taking time for myself to be able to process.
Mhm.
I'm not working doing this. I'm self-caring doing it.
And I, to like add to that, I agree with that. Like, I feel like the day last week where it was like 60 degrees, I put my shoes on, I didn't sit down, I went outside. It was so enjoyable. I cannot translate that to walking inside. There's nothing, and to me, even I love not Science Fitness. I love what's that guy? Fit with Rick.
Yeah, Fit with Rick. Yes,
he's wonderful to look at. Beautiful background. Dubai. Everything is beautiful. I don't want to stand in place in my living room and walk. I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you on that, because it does feel like a whole different thing. I feel like when I'm outside in nature,
yes,
that feels like a relaxation.
Mhm.
What doesn't feel like a relaxation is when I go outside in nature and it feels like the air's hurting my face. That doesn't feel like relaxation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
but that's factual though. I mean, like I mean, nature is healing, sunshine, you know, being
Yes.
out. I mean,
Mhm.
it's known. So that's not, I don't feel like that's very surprising to say you'd rather be outside than getting fit with Rick, no matter how cute he is. But it is also true that the endorphins that you get, you know, like that's the hard part, is having to push past kind of the, I don't want to, or I don't really know if this is, to get to the beneficial piece. Because
Right.
what's the statement? No one regrets a workout, but yeah, it's still getting there and doing it. It's like getting to the gym was the hard part for me when I had a gym membership. Afterwards, I felt fine.
It doesn't feel like in the moment it has a delayed payoff.
Right.
Whereas sitting on the couch in front of the TV with a bag of chocolate chips feels instantly satisfying,
Yes.
right?
It is.
But one usually will lead to regret later and the other one doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you doing on your vegetables? Can I follow up on that from what
Me?
last? Yeah, because that was last week. That was your conversation where you were going to get more vegetables, and I was yelling at my car radio. What vegetables are you going to eat?
This is what happens when you're not here. Ricky's like, "What are you talking about? Vegetables?"
I'm doing better. I would say better, not 100%, not like 99
difference.
Yes, I've been doing that. I tend to make choices out of like convenience, I guess, which everyone does. So that doesn't sound novel, but like a lot of times I will not get a bag of salad because I'm like, how quickly is this going to go bad? How long is it going to last me? Is it worth it? And then I'll think about a head of lettuce. Oh, I have to use it quickly. And then, or it might be too much. So a lot of times I'll talk myself into buying a bag of lettuce and I'll just get frozen like vegetables. I got some lettuce yesterday, or the day before yesterday, chopped it up, and had a salad. I brought it in for my lunch. I cooked salmon and had the salmon on top of it. So I was really proud of myself. And I had it for dinner the night before. I had the salad for dinner the night before. And I tried a lovely lemon plum.
Are they ripe now?
Yes, they're ripe and they're very good, extremely sweet. So Erin, Candice, so Erin dropped off a surprise for me for my birthday, and it was these bright yellow plums that are called lemon plums. And
in part because Rikki, she has little lemon things,
yes.
but it was something new for her to try in the fruit and vegetable world.
I loved the theme. She had little themes to all the gifts. It was very sweet and very thoughtful. Thank you, Erin. But when they were ripened, they turn like a red color and they taste kind of like regular plums, but like sweeter. I feel like when I've had plums in the past couple years, they've been a little like tart. But these were just so sweet and very delicious. So that was something new that I.
Where did you get them from, Erin?
Trader Joe's.
That's crazy. I was there the other day. I didn't notice them.
Literally, Rikki, I've only seen them that day, and I've never seen them before, and I've never seen them after.
Wow.
And they're kind of heart shaped too. They're so. Rikki, when I saw him, I instantly thought of Rikki because Rikki likes dainty things and kind of elegant things, plus the lemon, plus a little something new, which I know you guys could kind of poke fun at me for because I'm always finding a new, what's a different fruit or vegetable to try kind of thing. And I didn't even give you a little bit of mint to go along with it.
I know. Where's the mint?
And it's color changing. Like I figured if you're going to try something different, that's one to go for.
It's
So
very cool. I hope
Especially for you. It was the perfect gift. I love
yeah.
it. Now I want one though. Like I'm like, I gotta go to Trader Joe's tomorrow and figure
Well,
out.
I popped them in the fridge after they ripened to keep them a little longer. So swing by, I'll get you one.
there
Hey,
you go.
don't tempt me. I'm serious. I know where you live. So
All right, Candice, you're up.
well, everything's been going well. I had infusion last week that kind of reminded me of I had to go back into the whole cancer world, not because anything has changed my status. I'm still cancer free, thank God. But I have doctors who are very proactive in helping me stay that way. So I had an infusion that I had to do that knocked me off of my feet unexpectedly. So I had to kind of rebound, but it reminded me, Erin, a little bit of what you were talking about, how resilient your body can be, because when it's medication induced, I went from like being on the bike and like doing all of the things to 12 hours later, just like on my back. I think I texted you all like, I am down for the count, like can't
It's
do
like hit
anything.
you like a train.
It hit me really quick. And the doctors had warned me because it happens in some patients and it doesn't happen in others. And they're like, we really just don't know. Like, you'll know if it hits you. And it did. But thankfully, I was able to quickly recover. But it made me very grateful, very, very grateful for my health. Like afterwards, like just from just that little bit of time of being down, the next thing I wanted to do was to get on the bike. Like once I started feeling better. So I can see how I've had changes and how I've really been embracing exercise, really been getting it done in the mornings and stuff and seeing the changes in my body. So it was a reminder to me of why I am doing this journey and why I try to do well, because when you are down, I think that I help my body along because of some of the choices that I've been making recently. So it was good. Like I said, I'm fully recovered. I'm feeling good, but it was a tough few days. And like I said, it's just great to be back to feeling 100% again. So
Yay. We're
yeah.
glad you're back to 100%. I know this is you still have more after this to
I
go.
do it once every 6 months for 2 years. And the good news is they said the only time you ever have this reaction is on the first one. The other ones, it's like nothing ever happened. Like you don't have any reaction.
Right.
So they're like, if you can get through the first one, they were like, you're not going to feel anything else for any of the other ones. And I said, okay. Naively, I was like, sure. And then yeah, I was like, that's when I was thankful that I had David who could take care of Isaiah, because there was just no way. But like I said, I'm grateful for the habits that I've been developing, because I think I would have been even worse had I not been making healthy choices recently. I kind of gave my body a 1-up on recovery.
Yeah. Well, and you could see too, as you were in the early stage of your cancer journey, how helpful all of the anti-inflammatory foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, and how that helped you through chemo. So it would make sense that it would also help you through this space.
Yeah. So I think that, sometimes we need that extra reminder that this isn't just for fun. This isn't something that we're just doing because we've done it for like there's a reason behind the food choices. Erin, you're looking at your macros. Rikki, you're looking at fruits and vegetables. There's a reason. And I think trying to tie it back to that, the why of why we're doing it, I think it became stronger for me.
Yeah. Have you guys, did you at the beginning of the year, or as you went into the new year, did you create any whys for yourself? So I'm just thinking especially as we're moving into spring and a little bit of now spring cleaning and spring training, because it feels like the weather's starting to change a little bit. Did you create a new why or new goals for yourself at the beginning of the year? And do they still hold true to where we are today?
For me, yes, I did. My why/word/thought for 2024 was I was truly embracing letting go of perfection, not just saying it, but honestly doing it. And my word was I wanted to be balanced. Like I wanted to have balance to my journey. And so I've done that. And it's weird because it's been a daily choice that I've had to make to say, I just want to see what happens. I'm immensely curious to see what happens if I truly, truly let go of this perfection and stop talking about it and just do it.
Mhm.
And that means I've had negative 100-point days. I've had days that I didn't want to track, but I did. I've had days where I couldn't exercise. I broke streaks and I still said, keep going. And I'm seeing results from it. And it's really exciting because it's like, wait a second, this thing is actually, it actually works. Like this whole statement about perfection not being necessary is like a real thing. Sometimes you have to actually, but it's one thing to
Yeah,
say it, but it's one thing to
right.
actually do it is another thing.
Because
And I
what
know
has
it sounds
what's
silly when I,
perfection gotten you?
Mm.
yeah,
What's perfection
perfection,
gotten you?
I
nothing.
mean,
It's gotten me 20 plus years of being on Weight Watchers, talking about how it's going to work next year. I promise.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to just see what would happen if I make
Yeah.
2024 the year I just let it go.
mhm.
What's one of your, you said you're seeing results. What's one of your favorite results that you've experienced?
This sounds weird, but it's the weeks where I've been over points and I still lost. And the only reason why that's a
Mm.
win for me is not because I'm advocating going outside of your boundaries, but it was the motivation and the reminder I needed that you can just keep going. You can just do the next right thing. And to see it in practice and to see that your body will, sometimes you will have a gain, but a lot of times, if you just kind of get back at it, your body and things, it can just work out.
Mhm.
So I needed that reminder because that's what I was working against. Like that's what I was scared to allow myself to see because I was like, no, I need to do this perfectly in order to see results. And your body's like, no, you actually don't. You just need to give it your best. And your best is going to look different at different times. So that's been the most exciting thing for me, and to see how consistent it's been, my body has been in helping me to get healthier. You know, I've been able to make really drastic changes quite easily because I'm not requiring it to be done perfectly.
Love
Mhm.
that. You know,
Yeah.
one of the things, speaking of like the perfection part, at least for me, just kind of this revelation of being back and doing the tracking and really trying to pay attention to that because I've been working on a financial budget for myself and sticking to my financial budget. And so I've translated that as well into the tracking budget because you can only do what you have in the budget to be able to do. It's the same difference. But before, where it felt like it was the all or nothing, I took a step back and went, okay, I had a 75-day tracking streak and didn't do it. Didn't do it for 2 days. 2 days, broke it for 2 days, right? Because they give you the chance to go back and add in something yesterday so you
Right.
don't hit the streak, right?
Mhm.
And I did 2 days where I didn't do tracking. And it was like one of those, oh man, come on, but I wasn't in the space. It just none of those things. And then I took a step back and went, hold up a second. If I look at 366 days in this year, right? And of those 366, it's not about that I dropped a 75-day tracking. It's that by the end of 366 days, what is true, I tracked for 364 days, or I tracked for, take it, even if it was I tracked for 256, what's true at the end of the year is I tracked more days than I didn't. The streak doesn't matter as much as the end view looking back. That was a little perfection change
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, that's very
And
important.
I think that when you start to see those results, when you're like, wait, I casted more yes votes for my health
Right.
than I did
Mhm.
no votes, and your body thanks you, you
Yeah.
know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it seems I've now had to struggle, and then I'll get off of it. But I had a therapy appointment today, and I told my therapist, my biggest challenge now is forgiving myself for
Mm.
not embracing what I had been talking about sooner. Sometimes you're like, but you were saying it. Why didn't you just believe it and do it? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's not relevant right now.
Yep.
You're doing it now. But that's hard because you're like,
Mhm.
this, I could have felt like this a year ago or 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
having to let that go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so important.
Rikki, how about you? Beginning of the year, did you have a why or did you have a word to kind of shape for this year? And does that hold true now, 2 months after the start of the year?
I don't think I had a specific word at the start of the year, but I had kind of a shift of like, I need to do something different, and just the idea of different, not as in leaving the program or anything like that, but just making the next, almost like the next best choice kind of a situation. Like, why am I caught in these repetitive loops, and it feels like I'm just it's like Groundhog's Day, like over and over again. It's like I've done this before. How about I try something different? Just, a slight shift in the everyday choices, and see where that gets me, because doing the same thing has not I think I'm too smart for my own good. It's like I know the program well enough. I can eat a couple extra points here and not track it. And I know that doesn't work. I know it doesn't, but I do it over and over again. So I think I challenged myself in the beginning of this year to just make some different choices. And I'm still working on that. And I think I have examples of how I've done that in the past few weeks, but it's slow to show up on the scale, but I've made choices I've felt proud of. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, like we've said many times, the scale is one indicator. It just
Right.
happens to be the one physical piece that we have, and that WW measures its hard success
Right.
by, but it's not the only determination
Mhm.
of success.
Yeah, and I know my brain is the thing that's been like that we've always talked about, the weight in between our ears, and having to lose the mindset challenges is the most challenging thing to lose. And I think, for me, that's probably what needs to shift before I see any real, like, profound weight loss. And obviously I'm in this for weight loss, but time and time again, if my mindset is not where it needs to be, I'm not going to see the sustained weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me go back to that quote, and it's one of those simplistic ones, but it has meaning beyond, when it said, you can have a new life, but it's going to cost you your old one. Like,
Mm.
it made me think about, like, you can have all the things but it's going to cost you the mindset that's keeping you stuck.
Right.
That's something I can identify with that, with you, Rikki. Like, it's
Mm.
letting go of those things that are no longer serving me, so that I can get the results that I want, when I know that it's right here. And I'm pointing to my head in between. It's that's what needs to change.
Yeah.
So,
But it's also kind of the question, how's that working for you?
yeah.
Mm.
You got to
You know,
say it more like Dr. Phil, though. He says, "How's that working for you?"
how's that working for
There
you?
you go. Okay. It's just,
How's that
you were
working
too
for you?
proper. You were like,
That's
"How's
right.
that working for you?" Who said
Well,
that?
I mean, it's like there's a reason why we've got the statement, it's the devil, like a lot of times we choose to go with, we know it's a bad thing. We know it's like not serving us, but I'll say for myself, like I have tended to just stick with that comfort, the thing that I continue to do because I'm a human and I love routines and patterns, like, and breaking that is just proven to be so challenging, even though I know it's not helping me, it's not serving me. That the hardest thing is breaking those routines that have provided me with comfort all of these years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's you're breaking comfort and what do you comfort yourself with?
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, I comfort myself with food, and that's
Right.
been the problem.
Right. So it's having to create different comfort.
Mhm.
It's having to explore something else that would be different.
Mhm.
And when it feels like, especially, I'm not trying to project on you, but thinking about what you shared at the beginning of this, like the different
Mhm.
stress and things, we go back to our defaults
Mhm.
because those are the things that we know, why would we add more chaos to chaos? That doesn't, for us, seem to make any sense. And so that's sometimes why we continue in that stuck space, because we'll always put ourselves at the bottom end of it, because, well, we've lived with ourselves long enough to know, right? But this, we don't know. We don't know what else. Why would I rock the boat?
And we call it treating ourselves.
Yeah.
Like me, at the end of a stressful day, treating myself is I'm going to let myself sit on the couch and not move for 3 hours. And I know, again, intellectually, I know that that's not good for my body, but it feels like I'm treating myself because it brings me comfort and it's a routine.
It's the therapist's statement that, why are you glorifying eating out of the trash can? I told you when she said that to me, and I was like, well, what do you mean? But it's that. It's, if we were to be honest about what's actually happening, like, I am actively causing these illnesses or these things, like, this is what it is, and we could see it, it may make that comfortable less comfortable, because you're like, I see this repercussion. But it's hard because I think it gets masked between, when we're very, very, very complacent. It's not that bad. It's not this. It's not that. That's just so hard to deal with. It's having to have that discipline to say, no, this is hurting me. I cannot do this anymore.
And when you can't see it, when you don't have not to say that my health is 100% perfect, but like, when you don't see the physical ramifications at that moment, and I'll say all of the physical ramifications at that moment, it's easy to say, it's not harming me that much sitting here and not exercising today. I can skip a day. But we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what our bodies are going to do and how much our bodies can withstand. And it's a constant battle with the brain to say, I may not see the physical positive ramifications of my, let's say, activity every day, but maybe in a week it'll be easier to walk up the stairs, and maybe in 2 weeks I won't be out of breath when I'm going on a walk with my friends. But I have to just be in it for the long haul and know that, it'll take time, but I will see change.
Yeah. And it's worth it. You're worth it. All of us are worth the efforts that we put into it.
Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
What about you, Erin? What was your word?
So for me, I did not do a word. I never do a word, because I always find that the opposite of the word happens. But I ended the year going, and I shared this at the beginning of the year in our in one of our conversations, that I was looking at a hysterectomy, and that would be happening at some point at the beginning of the year. And we've hit pause on that, and just exploring some other options. But when you get to the place where you're exploring a hysterectomy, it means some not great things are happening there. And so for me, I just went, okay, this needs to be the year of health. It feels like the year of crap health, but you got to get through the crap health to get and actually, I don't even, I'm going to correct myself. I don't believe that I have to go through bad health to get to good health, because I can start kind of doing some of that course correction, if you will, or doing some help with it. So big part of also why I'm tracking all of the macronutrients and such with it is, when I had surgery about 12 years ago for endometriosis, one of the things that I learned was about the foods that create inflammation in the body. And that was when I decided I went raw vegan. And then I learned raw vegan was not good for me because of my thyroid. And so it created a different problem. But I did learn it was the best up until it created the problem for my thyroid. It was the best that I had felt in a really long time. It significantly helped reduce pain in my body. And I know that the commitment that it takes to be able to do that, but I also know how I felt, and it was the best that I had felt in a really long time. So going into this year, I knew and know that I need to revisit that. I needed to make a commitment to that side of health. So I have been hardcore on fruits, vegetables, how I'm eating them, raw versus cooked versus, all the things, and making sure that I am taking charge of my health and doing everything that is necessary. Because I don't want to be, my birthday's in July, and I don't want to be getting to July and still feeling crappy about stuff when I had 6 months to make a change, or I had 6 months to help myself not be in significant pain for 3 out of 4 weeks out of every month.
No regrets. Yeah.
Yeah. And so can I honestly say that I've given it everything that I have? And that's my question to myself, is, can I say that I've given it everything that I have, and have I done it?
Yeah.
And writing everything down, and so that when I go visit the doctor, I can show the doctor, this is what I'm doing, that I'm as invested in my health as I possibly can be, and that I'm not putting the onus on them to fix it, because it's my problem. It's my body, and I'm inviting and paying for them to help figure this thing out and put me on the right path, because I need their knowledge. But I'm very much a part of this equation, and I need to show up for nobody will do it but me.
Yeah.
And I need
Yeah.
to show up for me to do that. So,
well, that sounds like great motivation, and I think that there's no one better to show up for yourself than yourself.
yeah.
And when you have enough of the medical things that have gone on, and you just want to be able to say, look, here it is. I am doing the things.
Right. That's it's like, you want to be able to prove it to them, because that way they can't go, well, what about them? Like, no, look at everything I'm doing. This is it. And I'm logging it. I'm tracking it. So now I've got proof, and and it's the honesty with the tracker.
Yeah.
Absolute honesty, because I may feel like I'm doing something good, and they may look at it and go, oh, here it is. But they can't go, here it is, unless they have all the information for them to be able to look at, and the complete honesty. So
just don't be like me when I came to my physical and I had my tracker, and I was like, I know I'm fat, but I wanted you to see since January 1, let's go through each day. And she's like, I believe you. I said, no, this is not, I want you to see this. She's like, well, we have like 30 minutes. So I just want to make making a good use of this time. But yeah, you get really proud. Like, you're like, no, I just want to be clear. If something is off, it is not because of you.
Well, and what it shows to them too is that you're invested. When you show up with your own data, it says, I'm serious about this, and I'm doing what it takes to feel better. And I think sometimes, and I've seen this with doctors that I've been with, they actually they can see that you're invested. And so not that they wouldn't treat it more seriously, but they can just see the difference of having a patient that's invested and doesn't want the next pill to fix something, So that's still true for me, from what was at the beginning of the year is still true now. And I would actually say I'm probably even a little more dug in than I was.
So we're doing it, guys.
Yeah.
We're still in this for 2024. No kicking us
Going
out.
Strong.
No quitters here.
None at all.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we know this was a little bit longer than usual episode, but thanks for hanging with us while we kind of just touched base and got reacquainted and coming back in. At least for me, I appreciate the grace of that, and thank you, ladies, for jumping in the past 2 weeks. I love you and appreciate both of you.
We love
and
you.
I've missed our Real WW Talk community. So feel free, jump into our Facebook page, our Instagram and YouTube, leave those comments. We're checking everything. And just a reminder, all of us have regular jobs outside of this. So we try to be as much a part of everything as we possibly can. But if it does take us a day or two to respond, just know that's part of it. We're still trying to kind of work that other part of our lives through. But we really appreciate you. We love this community. We take so much strength and support from it. And we hope that you have a great week.
And thank you to the people who have subscribed, because I know that we got some new people. So just thank you again for, like I said, helping to support the show. It means a lot to us.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye.